So welcome back to the FuturePrint Virtual Conference. And the next session, over the period of the last 12 months, certainly from my perspective, it's been a crystallization in my mind of the importance and the growing importance and perhaps even strategic importance of software. I think print as an industry has been besotted with hardware for many, many, many years. I think now is the time for software. And it certainly is something I'm learning about how it can enable new possibilities. This session is called Customer Innovation, how embracing digital technologies enabled their business to adapt, survive, and thrive. And the session has been delivered by our partners and new partners, delighted EFI, and specifically EFI Market Direct. We have John Morley, who's Worldwide Channel Partner Director for EFI Market Direct. We have Aaron Tavakoli, Senior Segment Marketing Manager at EFI. Welcome to you both. And joined by Lucy Swanson, who is MD for Nutshell Marketing, an innovative marketing business based in the UK. So this session, we're going to explore some of the EFI products and capabilities, and then we're going to have Lucy here to really sort of inform us about how she's developed and used these technologies. John, I think you're first up to introduce the session.
Thank you, Marcus. Yes. To your point, we felt that this session would be great to be able to explain the strategization of how people look at software moving forward. And we've recognized as EFI that people know us for our fiery rip. They know us for our engines. They know us for the big inkjet printers, but not everybody knows us for our software. And to that point, we're grateful to have Lucy with us. I'm going to hand over to Aaron, and we're going to explain more about the EFI software portfolio and specifically the Market Direct cross-media product. Aaron, over to you.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. And thanks, Marcus, for having us. Very exciting to be participating in the FuturePrint event for the first time. As everyone mentioned, I am the product marketing manager and segment marketing lead for our web to print and marketing technology platforms. Those are known as Market Direct. And we have a number of different products in the Market Direct family now. Market Direct Storefront, which is our e-commerce and web to print technology, as well as Market Direct Cross Media, which is what we'll really be focused on today. And I think is a really interesting story to share with the community, and specifically around the way Nutshell have taken this technology on, taken it to market and really used it to their advantage. Lucy, thank you so much for giving us your valuable time today. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where Nutshell got started.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. And again, thank you for asking me to join this session. Nutshell started just over 15 years ago now, and we're a UK design and marketing agency. And guess what? We love a bit of print, and we love to mix it with a bit of technology as well. So that really has been our differentiator, certainly for the last 8 to 9 years when we first onboarded with various web to print platforms, but also in the direct smile days when everybody thought it was amazing to be able to write their name in the snow. Things have moved on quite considerably since then, but nonetheless, the technology is still, pretty groundbreaking for us, actually. It's been a great way for us to be able to punch above our weight and make headway into clients that we wouldn't necessarily have been able to do, I don't believe. Fast forward 15 years, and we're still advocating using technology as a differentiator because we know it's a formula that works. It gives us the ability to be able to do things faster and smarter, but I'm sure we'll go into more detail on that shortly. But also we have developed another side of the business, which is now set up, called Nutshell Trade Services. So in addition to our core marketing business, we're now offering a design and marketing service specifically for the print industry and to help them deploy technology such as what we're talking about today.
Brilliant. And I know that's going to be successful. I look forward to talking a little bit about that later on. So, I think one of the really interesting things here is, we always, obviously we're a software technology company. One of the things I don't like doing is talking about software technology for the sake of software technology. There has to be an application. And I think more importantly, as is the case with Nutshell, or was the case with Nutshell all those years ago. And side note, Nutshell bought Direct Smile, Market Direct, before EFI bought Market Direct.
That's right.
Interesting. Lucy has actually been a Market Direct customer longer than EFI have been selling it. But I think what's really interesting is the idea that an organization has to be committed to the change or the process that needs to be in place before they buy and implement technology. Buying and implement software technology on its own is not a strategy. You really have to have a plan. You have to understand how you're going to use it. You have to have the right people trained properly so that they can take advantage of it. Can you talk about the early days, Lucy, of how you got through? I know it's not all smooth sailing, but what were some of the challenges and how did you tackle them?
Oh my God, one that really sticks in my mind that I look back now and I think, what the hell were we even thinking of when we were doing it? So we'd got this, so parking the labour that we needed in terms of, a designer, straight developer and, another marketing exec or whatever. I mean, it was totally down to me. I think I fell completely foul of going, we've got this amazing bit of software and oh my God, look at this new shiny thing. Let's go and tell our customers about it. And I was talking about the technology and I was doing this for about a year, maybe two. And if you think back then, people didn't really know what marketing automation was and thought that I was just, what the hell is she talking about? And really, when I took a step back and thought, no, I'm not, is it me? Am I just not explaining this properly? But actually, when you think about it, I don't go to my customers and say, we're designing you this amazing brochure at the minute in InDesign or Photoshop, and we're using all these different, Adobe suites to pull something together. They're not interested in that, and it's the same with printers, for example, saying about what kit they've got, and we've got to talk more about the benefits anyway. So soon learnt my lesson on that, and didn't even talk about the technology to the customers. If it came up in conversation, I'd say, or they'd ask, then I would obviously tell them. But actually, everything just sort of slotted into place then. When I said, we're going to do your campaigns in the same way as we normally do, but we can now offer various other components to that. We can make it work seamlessly, and we can automate it for you, and we can enhance your data for you. You can have dashboards to see performance and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden the work started coming in because I was just wrapping it up slightly differently. So we've all been there, haven't we? But that's definitely a standout. The other is, in terms of implementation, I think you do need to have some technical. I don't think just being a designer for print will allow you to use Market Direct to its full capacity. Yes, you'd be able to get by and you'd be able to use templates and all the rest of it. But if you're really serious about embracing it, then I do think you need a blend of, a designer stroke developer type capability as well. But, like I said, it's horses for courses, really, depending on, the sector that the printer might want to work in, or the sector that the brand's actually in, and the type of campaigns that you want to do, because sometimes It's about how creative you want to be in planning that campaign out. Or sometimes it could be, no, let's not overcomplicate it. Let's keep it quite simple, and just do a standard campaign flow.
I think that's key. You mentioning at the very beginning there that you have to solve the problem, and that's not unlike any other business application. In any other industry, you have to solve the customer's problem, and you have to present them solutions, not technology. Customers aren't interested in how you're solving their problems. Those are challenging for printers sometimes, who are used to be honest, putting their equipment out first and foremost. Oh, we've got an inkjet this, we've got a 5-color that. And I think, it's more important than ever that we lead with solutions. One of the things, you've been doing this so long, one of the things that is really interesting, because the marketing automation world now has obviously over the last 10 years exploded.
Yeah.
And there are literally thousands, quite literally thousands of different pieces of technology for various components. How do you keep your teams fresh and updated? Because really the idea, it's still born out of creativity. How are you going to solve that problem? It starts with a creative idea, and then you've got to convert it into something. So how do you solve that problem? How does Market Direct help you get there quicker?
Yeah, so in terms of like creativity and ideas and sectors to target, or how you could devise a campaign to support a certain customer type, for example, all comes down to research. I mean, we're very, very fortunate in the UK with the likes of the Direct Marketing Association, Royal Mail, Market Reach, Whistle. We have such a huge amount. JIC Mail now, which is a direct, almost like a direct mail like research area where you can go in and see previous campaigns that have worked and what haven't in various sectors and stuff. It gives us the armory, if you like, to make informed decisions on various sectors, because we've got access to all this data that helps plan a campaign regardless of the sector that we're working in. Yeah,
I mean, those things are critical. Being very you have to be in touch with those industry associations. You have to understand the way mail works. You have to, and it changes constantly.
It does.
It's not as static and as the static thing that you learn once and you're good for the next decade. You really have to be on top of it on an annual basis. I think one of the other interesting things about your story and what you've been able to achieve that's amazing is the size of some of the clients, and not just the size, but the size of the campaigns is almost more important than the size of the customer. But you've worked with some incredibly big brands over the years, and you've done that as a relatively small, so to speak, agency and organization. Obviously, you've got a lot of creative prowess. How do you keep up with the big boys?
Oh gosh, I think a lot of it's down to relationships and service and the delivery that and support that we give them. I mean, the customers that I believe that you're probably referring to, we've worked with now for circa 10 years. So that only comes from a great team, first and foremost. But I have to say, having, platforms and technology to help you deliver the customer's expectations and have that reliability with, a team like yourselves behind it.
Yeah, I think, as we were saying early on, with the right resources, teams, and staff in place, what technology enables organizations or companies like your businesses like yours to go to bat and really, challenge the status quo. The idea that, hey, you need a room full of people to execute a program, a multi-channel communication program, for a national or even an international big brand. It can be done. It doesn't have to be complex.
Exactly.
And you can really show innovation by, again, bringing in every aspect of that touch. One of the differences for Market Direct is we were born out of print. It was born out of print. So print was first. A lot of marketing automation platforms today are, digital first. And if they even have a print channel or a print plugin, it's sort of an afterthought. So I think, that probably helped or aided you in understanding, and this group, this particular audience that we're talking today, in understanding why it's so important today to build digital into, or think about digital as a strategy with every print element you do.
Definitely. I mean, you've only got to look in now as the incorporating and blending all media together by far outweighs, working in silos with single channels. I mean, you've only got to look at the statistics for door drops, for example, in the UK, where there was an example that whilst like furniture retailers, for example, are shut, but using door drops and DM, and as part of a marketing automation journey, they've seen an uplift of 11% in online sales as a direct result of the door drop. And that's proven because we can measure it when we're using technology, and we can use whatever point of entry we want it to be, whether it's a personalized QR code or a personalized URL, image recognition. We've never really had the ability to do that properly and seamlessly integrate that into a marketing automation platform.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about, what everything I've heard over the last year, and it's interesting because it does, I'm hearing the same thing from everyone, whether it's over here in North America or in Europe. The idea that, for customer acquisition and demand generation, especially new customer acquisition, print is still a big part of a lot of organizations' budgets and core plans, and where they see the most amount of ROI per dollar spent. Digital is so crowded these days, and it's very difficult to get your head above the noise and out of the particularly if you're in a competitive landscape. So, print is critical, as you said. A lot of folks, though, don't think about print and programs, or strategic communication programs outside of demand generation. So I know they're used and in a lot of nonprofits. I know they're used in a lot of customer retention programs, customer loyalty programs. What are you seeing in terms of new trends on that front?
Yeah, like you say, there's the market is absolutely littered now in terms of what's available out there. I mean, when we first looked at what was Direct Smile at the time, you had the obvious big vendors out there that we're all known and familiar with. But now, if you target marketing automation, there is so many of them that can support businesses, anything from your smaller SME right through to, or your micro sort of business right through to your huge corporates. But in terms of trends, I think I've seen more of them pop up to support the smaller businesses, which interestingly, the last couple of updates with Market Direct, you've started to, maybe you've recognised it too, but you've started to implement sort of self-serve templates. So whether you're, well, in that instance, if you're a printer, for example, and you want to service that micro business or that smaller SME, at quick, fast pace, you've got campaigns by sector that you can deploy quite quickly. And that makes you very, very competitive in terms of, a smaller SME who hasn't got that much time on their hands, understand, quite business savvy, understands the concept of marketing, but doesn't then want to get their head round, a cheap marketing automation platform that they've found to help, do their marketing. They probably want to rely on, their local printer that, does perhaps their posters or their point of sale in store or whatever industry that they're in, to just crash out the campaign for them as well.
Right.
So I think trends going forward are that the smaller SME has really woken up this last year and really identified. And I think if the printer does the same thing, there's a huge amount of not existing business to take from somebody else, but new ideas, new innovation and ideas that can be used and deployed. And I think we'll see a lot more of that.
Absolutely. And like you said, time to market is critical. You've got to be able to get in quick. You've got to be able to do it with minimal overhead. If you have to sit down and get a team of people together in a room every time you want to drop another program, forget it. The overhead is too high, especially for that end of the market. You really need to be able to be nimble, and good technology fundamentally allows you to do that. It allows you to adapt to market conditions like we've seen over the last year quickly. It allows you to pivot when you see an opportunity or a niche that you want to go after, and it allows you to move quickly. So we have been really grateful to have Nutshell as a partner these years, and we look forward to many more together. They've helped us tremendously, hopefully as much as we've helped them. So thank you so much, Lucy. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, no, an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Until next time.
Thanks, guys. And is there anything you want to wrap up on? So obviously, with Market Direct enabling so much with Nutshell, and obviously Nutshell are, as far as I can see, what you might call an early adopter. To what extent does EFI help customers really unlock the possibilities? I know you're quite committed to education, aren't you, as a business?
Absolutely. It's a big part of everything we do. You can't, with this technology in particular, you can't just, it's not like selling someone a copy of Photoshop. And I don't want to make light of Photoshop, an amazing platform, but it really does. It really does need, as I said, there needs to be more than just a plan to install a piece of software. There's got to be a strategy. There's got to be a thought about how you're going to go to market. There's got to be a thought about finding and hiring the right people for the job. And a lot of our customers, like Lucy, have spent years learning some of those things. And it doesn't necessarily happen quickly. What we hope we can do is help customers get to that, start thinking about some of those questions up front, and start answering those questions before and during, the implementation of the technology itself. And of course, training and updates are a huge part of any good software platform, making sure that it stays relevant and it supports everything that it needs to.
And I think that support's critical, particularly with a business that's looking to really move out of its comfort zone. You're going to have to in order to adapt. And I guess to some extent, learning can be quite painful, and you need to be quite resilient in order to kind of discover that kind of gem of an idea that solves a problem, that creates value. And clearly software is a fantastic, particularly your software obviously, is a fantastic way of of realizing that. So thank you all for taking part at the event. I know it's great to have you involved, and Neofy and Lucy as well, and hear some stories of innovation, success, and also optimism, which I think we all need right now as we emerge from the last 12 months. So thanks very much, guys, and well done. I enjoyed that. Thank you.